The Zurani war fleet hung over Earth like a scythe, and Commander Zyrax watched the last human defense station crack open with satisfaction that rippled through his neural cluster. Resistance collapsed in 47 minutes. His second-in-command, Vara, clicked from the tactical console. Her mandibles spread in what passed for pride among their kind. Faster than the Dracovari homeworld, faster than the Tharian colonies. Zyrax's compound eyes tracked the debris field spreading across the view screen. Covenant Station had been the humans' final orbital stronghold. Now it was dust and cooling metal, its defenders silenced mid-transmission. The invasion force had expected weeks of fighting. They'd needed less than an hour. "Broadcast surrender terms," Zyrax ordered. "Standard occupation protocols. They've lost their teeth." The signal went out across all frequencies. On the flagship, Sovereign Wrath's bridge, the collective hummed with shared triumph. 300 vessels strong, the fleet had carved through human space like it was built from paper. The species that called itself dominant on this small blue world had proven exactly as fragile as intelligence reports suggested. Vara's antennae twitched as new data flooded her station. Compliance transmissions incoming from major population centers, military channels going silent, standard capitulation pattern. "Log it," Zyrax said. He turned from the viewport, segmented legs carrying him toward the strategic display. The holographic Earth rotated slowly, red markers indicating captured installations, blue ones showing targets yet to be secured. "Prepare landing forces. We'll have ground superiority within 12 hours. The collective agreed. Victory tasted sweet through their shared consciousness. On the surface, in a bunker 3 miles beneath the Nevada desert, Colonel Marcus Webb watched the same data with different eyes. "They think we're done," said Lieutenant Sarah Cole. She stood at the secondary terminal, fingers moving across controls that hadn't been activated in 30 years. "Fleet command's gone, station's gone. They're already broadcasting occupation orders." Marcus Webb studied the tactical display. The Zurani fleet formed a perfect blockade pattern, confident and exposed. Every ship exactly where doctrine said it should be. He'd spent 6 months studying their tactics, pulling apart every engagement report from the outer colonies, and he'd learned one crucial thing. The Zurani fought by template. They'd conquered 17 species using the same playbook, and they'd never needed to deviate. "How many ships in bombardment position?" Webb asked. 73, Cole replied. "The rest are forming secondary perimeter." "Time to target lock?" "We have solutions on all 73. Cole's voice remained steady, but Webb caught the slight tremor in her hands. "Waiting on your authorization, sir." Marcus Webb had joined the military 40 years ago, back when humanity thought it was alone in the universe. He'd been a captain when first contact shattered that illusion. He'd been a major when the outer colonies started falling. He'd made colonel specifically for this moment, this contingency that everyone prayed would never come. "Activate Protocol 13, he said quietly. Sarah Cole's hands froze over the console. "Sir, confirming order. Protocol 13. Full activation?" "Full activation." She entered the command sequence. Deep beneath the Atlantic Ocean, in a trench no probe had ever mapped, something woke up. In orbit, disguised as dead satellites and forgotten debris, other things began to move. Across the moon's far side, in installations that hadn't appeared on any official registry for 3 decades, targeting systems came online. The humans had spent 30 years preparing for this exact invasion. They'd watched 5 other species fall to the Zurani war machine. They'd studied every battle, every tactic, every assumption the hive mind collective made about inferior opponents. And they'd learned the most important lesson. The Zurani believed their intelligence made them unbeatable. They never considered that a primitive species might lie about its capabilities, might hide its real weapons, might build its entire defense strategy around looking weak until the perfect moment. That moment was now. Commander Zyrax felt the first impact through the collective before his sensors registered it. A spike of shock from the frigate Dawn Chorus, confusion from its crew, then nothing. The ship disappeared from tactical displays. "Report," he snapped. Vara's mandibles clacked in confusion. "Unknown weapons fire. Origin point, Earth's surface. Dawn Chorus destroyed. No debris." Impossible. Their surface installations were mapped and neutralized in the first. 3 more ships vanished from the display. Then 7. Then 12. The bridge erupted in chaos. The collective screamed through Zyrax's neural cluster, 1,000 voices shrieking confusion and fear. Ships that had been sitting in perfect formation were simply ceasing to exist, torn apart by weapons that appeared on no sensor, launched from positions that shouldn't have existed. "Evasive maneuvers," Zyrax commanded. "All ships scatter pattern Delta." The sovereign wrath lurched sideways as something massive and invisible tore through the space where they'd been hovering. Emergency klaxons wailed. Vara fell against her console, righting herself with all 4 arms. 16 ships destroyed, she reported, voice high with panic. "Correction, 21, 26. Sir, they're targeting our bombardment wing specifically." Zyrax forced his mind clear through the collective's terror. Focus on tactics. The humans had concealed weapons, clearly, but weapons could be countered. He pulled up the engagement analysis, scanning for firing patterns, reload times, any weakness. The data made no sense. The weapons appeared to be firing from over 40 different locations simultaneously. Some were surface-based, others orbital, still others coming from the moon itself. The yield on each shot suggested power generation far beyond what human infrastructure should support. And the targeting accuracy was perfect. Not a single shot had missed. "They were hiding this the entire time," Vara whispered. "All their intelligence reports, all their military displays. It was theater." "Reformate the fleet," Zyrax ordered, pushing his analysis to the collective. "Cluster formation, overlapping shields. We still outnumber them 300 to..." The number on his display read 247. "Target their firing positions," he said. "Maximum bombardment. Turn their entire planet into glass if we must." The fleet reoriented, bringing weapons to bear on Earth's surface. Zyrax watched the firing solutions lock into place. This was the hammer that had broken 17 civilizations. No shield could withstand it. No bunker could survive it. The first salvo launched. Every shot detonated against invisible barriers 300 miles above Earth's surface. The collective reeled from the feedback, incomprehension spreading like poison through the neural network. The humans had orbital shields, planetary-scale defensive screens that appeared from nothing, absorbing terajoules of energy without even flickering. "How?" Vara demanded. "How do they have this technology?" Zyrax didn't answer. He was too busy watching his fleet die. In the Nevada bunker, Sarah Cole called out numbers with mechanical precision. 68 hostiles eliminated, 71, 83. Marcus Webb watched the tactical display with grim satisfaction. The Zerani were panicking now, breaking formation, trying to scatter. But Protocol 13 had been designed for exactly this moment. Every weapon system, every defensive screen, every piece of technology humanity had developed in secret for 3 decades was now fully active. The quantum targeting arrays tracked each ship with perfect accuracy. The zero-point energy platforms fired continuously without recharge cycles. The gravitational lenses hidden in lunar orbit tore through enemy shields like they were tissue. They're attempting to retreat, Cole reported. Outer perimeter ships breaking orbit. Let them, Webb said. Track their vectors. I want to know where they run. On the Sovereign Wrath, Commander Zyrax made the hardest decision of his existence. Full retreat. All ships. Emergency jump coordinates. The collective resisted. Retreat was not in their doctrine. The Zurani did not flee. They overwhelmed. They conquered. Another 18 ships vanished from the tactical display. Now! Zyrax screamed, and the collective broke. The remaining fleet scattered, each ship desperately charging jump drives, abandoning formation and doctrine and pride. Zyrax watched Earth shrink on the view screen as the Sovereign Wrath accelerated away, its engines straining at maximum burn. Behind them, more ships died. The humans weren't just defending, they were hunting. Vara pulled up casualty reports with shaking limbs. 147 ships destroyed, 92 damaged, collective coherence at 63%. They'd lost half their invasion force in 17 minutes. The jump drives engaged, and space twisted. The Sovereign Wrath tore itself from normal space, fleeing into the faster-than-light corridor that would carry them back to Zurani territory. Around them, the survivors of the fleet did the same, each ship screaming its terror through the fragmenting collective. They'd invaded Earth expecting an easy victory. They'd found a trap that had been 30 years in the making. In the Nevada bunker, Marcus Webb watched the last enemy ship vanish from tracking. "Pursuit?" Sarah Cole asked. "Negative," Webb said. "Let them carry the message home. Let the entire galaxy know what happens when you underestimate humanity." He pulled up the casualty reports from Covenant Station. 4,000 dead. The entire orbital defense force sacrificed to make the invasion fleet feel confident, to make them commit fully, to draw them into bombardment range where Protocol 13 could destroy them most efficiently. 4,000 lives traded for victory. 4,000 people who'd known they were bait, who'd held their positions and fought and died to sell the deception. Captain Diana Grant had commanded Covenant Station. She'd transmitted surrender protocols right up until the moment the Zurani tore her command apart. She'd sold the lie perfectly. Marcus Webb closed his eyes. Victory tasted like ashes. "Sir," Cole said softly, "incoming transmission. It's from the Zurani fleet, audio only." "Play it." Commander Zyrax's voice came through the speakers, translated by the communications AI. "We underestimated you. The collective acknowledges this error. But understand, human commander, that you have not won. You have only ensured that the next fleet will not make our mistakes. They will not show mercy. They will not offer surrender. They will simply destroy your world from range." Marcus Webb leaned forward, speaking into the transmitter. "Tell your masters this, Zyrax. We showed you one protocol. We have 12 more, and each one is worse than the last. The next fleet that comes here won't leave survivors to carry warnings. There won't be anything left to take home at all." He cut the transmission. The lie tasted bitter on his tongue. There was no Protocol 14, no secret arsenal beyond what they'd just revealed. Humanity had spent everything it had on this one perfect ambush. If the Zurani came back in force, came prepared, came with enough ships that Protocol 13 couldn't stop them all. Sarah Cole must have seen something in his expression. "Will they come back, sir?" "I don't know," Webb said honestly. "But we bought time. Time to actually build those other protocols. Time to prepare properly. Time to make the bluff real." Around the planet, the weapon systems began powering down, going back to sleep. The orbital shields flickered out. The quantum arrays fell silent. Earth looked peaceful again, vulnerable again, the same primitive world that had hung there a day ago. But the galaxy had changed. Humanity had drawn a line in the void and defended it with blood and deception and technology no one had suspected they possessed. 3 months later, the Zurani Collective convened in emergency session. Commander Zyrax stood before the Hive Council, his neural cluster still fragmented from the trauma of retreat. Around him, the chamber's walls pulsed with the thoughts of 10,000 drones, all focused on the question that had fractured their certainty. "How do we respond?" Elder Va'ara demanded. She was not the same Va'ara who'd served aboard the Sovereign Wrath, but the collective shared memories. She knew everything the bridge crew had experienced. Zyrax presented his analysis. "The humans have technology we don't understand, weapons we can't counter, defenses we can't penetrate. A second invasion would require 5 times our committed force, minimum. Even then, success is not guaranteed." "Then we commit 5 times the force," another elder clicked. "To what end?" Zyrax asked. "The humans claim they have 12 more protocols. Even if that's a lie, even if they showed us everything they have, we would lose thousands of ships taking their world. And for what? One small planet? One species? The cost-benefit analysis is clear." The collective churned with conflict. The Zurani had never retreated permanently from a conquest target. It violated their nature. But they also prided themselves on logical analysis, on efficient expansion. Throwing away thousands of ships for revenge satisfied nothing but pride. "The humans are too costly to conquer at present," Elder Vara finally declared. "We mark their space as contested territory. We warn other species of their hidden capabilities. We move to softer targets until we understand their technology better." The decision rippled through the collective. It felt like defeat, but it was pragmatic. The Zurani would expand elsewhere, conquer other worlds, and leave Earth alone. For now. On Earth, in the Nevada bunker, Marcus Webb received the intelligence report from deep space monitors. The Zurani fleet was repositioning away from human space. The invasion was over. Sarah Cole stood beside him, reading the same data. "We actually did it. We stopped them." "We survived them," Webb corrected. "There's a difference." He pulled up the casualty list again. 4,000 names. 4,000 people who'd died to sell a lie convincing enough that the most efficient conquerors in the galaxy decided humanity wasn't worth the price. Lieutenant Elena Sutton had been aboard Covenant Station. She'd been 24 years old, fresh from the academy, stationed at communications. Her last transmission had been a false surrender plea that made the Zurani think humanity was broken. She'd known exactly what she was doing. Private Nathan Cole had been Sarah's brother. He'd manned a gun emplacement that never fired a shot, part of the theater that made the station seem like humanity's last, desperate stand. The Zurani had killed him, believing he represented Earth's final defense. Captain Diana Grant had commanded them all. She'd looked Marcus Webb in the eye 6 hours before the invasion and said, "Make it count." Then she'd died, making the enemy feel invincible. Marcus Webb authorized the memorial protocols, the notifications to families, the medals that would be awarded posthumously. He wrote the classified reports that explained why 4,000 people had been sacrificed as bait. He did everything a commander was supposed to do after victory. Then he went to his private quarters and wept for the price humanity had paid to survive its first real war. Outside, Earth turned beneath a sky empty of enemy ships, defended by weapons that would take decades to reload, protected by a bluff that would only work once. Humanity had learned to play galactic politics the hard way, had discovered that sometimes survival meant looking weak until the moment you revealed your teeth. The Zurani had taught 17 species that resistance was futile. Humanity had taught the Zurani that assumptions could be fatal. In the cold mathematics of interstellar war, that lesson had just changed everything. The galaxy would never look at Earth the same way again.